Young people today seem to be a little slow. Compared to their parents' generation, young people today are taking longer to finish school, move out, enter full-time work, marry, and have children. In fact, Statistics Canada reports that a 30-year-old today will have made the same number of these transitions as a 25-year-old in 1971. In short, young people today are taking longer to achieve many of the traditional milestones of adulthood. One of the trends that has made people the most concerned is that more and more people are living with their parents. Today, nearly half of Canadians in their 20s live at home. This is not only because people are staying with their parents for longer, it's also because people are leaving home and then returning, or boomeranging back home. Messages in the media clearly show widespread concern about this trend. Like many articles that describe the so-called millennial generation, these articles often portray young people as entitled, irresponsible, and infantile. And while these judgments may often be hasty and ill-conceived, they do raise interesting questions about family and human development. Why are so many young people choosing to live at home? Is something really wrong with them? How do they and their parents deal with this living situation? What are their everyday lives like? Should we be concerned? Now, although many of these questions center on social and psychological topics, psychologists by and large have not been a part of the discussion about young adults living at home. While we know quite a bit about the historical rates of co-residence, the demographics of those who live with their parents, and how co-residence relates to economic factors, we know almost nothing about how it corresponds to psychological factors like independence, personal well-being, or interpersonal relationships. In my doctoral research, I'll begin to examine these topics by using in-depth interviews to document the everyday experiences of 20 Canadian young people who live with their parents. Using semi-structured and life history interviews, my research will take an exploratory approach, highlighting the things that my participants care most about. In other words, rather than judging from the outside whether or not this living situation is a problem, I'll inquire from the inside how young people make sense of their situations and how this understanding relates to their own needs and priorities, the particular relationships they have with their parents, and their notions of adulthood and development. By conducting this research, I hope to contribute a more nuanced portrait of young adults living at home. What I'm suggesting is that before we try to judge or resolve what is now the most common household type for Canadians in their 20s, we need to understand the perspectives of people who have something to gain, lose, or preserve in that situation.